Blake subtitled his 1794 work, Songs of Innocence and Experience, showing two contrary states of the human soul. This subtitle is important. It suggests that Blake saw innocence and experience not as mutually exclusive opposites, with one being better than the other, but as mutually inclusive antinomies that are equally valuable. So let's just think for a second about what Blake meant by innocence and experience. As with most of Blake's poems, these poems can be seen in the context of the Bible, which Blake knew very thoroughly, and also within the context of Milton's Paradise Lost, which Blake also knew very, very well. So if we think back to the book of Genesis in the Bible, we see Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden before they eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And what is their life like? Well, they are in harmony with their natural environment. They garden, they gain nourishment from the land. There's no sense that they are opposed to nature. Adam knows the animals so well that he can even name them. So they're in harmony with their environment. They are in harmony with each other. Eve is made from Adam. God removes his rib. God removes Adam's rib and turns the rib into Eve. And there they are, a married couple in harmony with one another. So they are in harmony with the land, they're in harmony with each other, and they're in harmony with their God, who is so intimate with them that he can come visit them in the cool of the evening. So what happens? When Adam and Eve eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, three different severings occur. They become severed from the landscape. It is now opposed to them. They become severed from each other. They blame each other for the transgression, and they of course become separated from God, who cast them east of Eden. Now, the very moment of the so-called fall, when the couple eat from the tree, is characterized, if we take it away from a theological context and move it into a psychological one, is characterized by the emergence of what we would call self-consciousness. Before Adam and Eve eat from the tree, they are naked, but do not know they are naked. They simply are. They don't reflect on their being, they simply be. But when they eat from the tree, what happens? The first thing they sense is, oh my gosh, I'm naked. They know they are naked. In other words, they see themselves through the eyes of the other. It's as if they're looking in a mirror. And what's the first thing each does? Clothes themselves. Why? Because along with self-consciousness comes a sense of shame, that I must cover myself up. So self-consciousness is the way that Blake and many other romantics like Wordsworth and Coleridge see the fall, again from a psychological point of view. Now, we understand what self-consciousness is and probably aren't too happy about it. If you're self-conscious, again, you imagine what you look like through the eyes of somebody else. Think about one morning you get to Starbucks, you're the first one there, and you're really enjoying yourself. You've got your coffee, you're typing on your laptop, you're listening to your favorite music, and you are just in the groove. But then suddenly someone comes in and sits, say, 10 feet away from you. You don't even know the person doesn't even know you. But think about how you tense up ever so slightly, because there's a sense that there is an other out there watching you. And you start imagining what you will look like through the eyes of that other person. Think about times you've performed as an athlete or as a musician, as an orator, as a debater, anytime you've had to perform in front of a group of people. What is it that makes you tense up? Well, you start thinking about what you look like through the eyes of others, and generally you imagine others seeing you in a judgmental light. You imagine others seeing you negatively. So we can say then that the fallen state is self-consciousness, and as such, the fallen state, in a real sense, is to be in a state of constant fear or desire. What does this mean? If I am self-conscious, I'm not fully present in my moment. If I ask you, don't think of a pink elephant. If I say to you, be spontaneous, that makes you feel self-conscious. You're sitting